Have you ever wondered, is my daily habit quietly stealing my strength, my drive, maybe even my dignity? What if something you thought was harmless or even healthy is doing more damage than you realize? Hello, I'm Dr. Daniel Hartman. I've spent over 30 years in Chicago helping men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond reclaim their health, confidence, and purpose. And let me tell you something I've learned. The problem isn't your age. It's what's happening inside your body. Masturbation is a natural act, but for older men, especially when it becomes a daily routine, it may carry consequences you've never been told about. Today, I want to walk you through the truth without shame and without judgment. Let's get into it. Let's gently talk about something that most men over 60 deal with but almost no one talks about. Hormonal changes. You may notice that you feel more tired than usual. Maybe the drive you once had physically and mentally just isn't there anymore. And you might be wondering, is this just age, or is something else at play? Well, here's the truth. You may be harming yourself without even knowing. Testosterone, the hormone that gives you vitality, energy, and that spark of manhood, starts to decline after 40. But in your 60s and 70s, the drop becomes more noticeable. That's normal. What's not talked about enough is how daily ejaculation, yes, even through masturbation, may affect this delicate hormonal balance. I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to help you understand your body, because most men are never told this. You see, after climax, your body enters a state of recovery. It releases prolactin, a hormone that suppresses sexual desire and can actually dull your motivation, even hours later. Daily masturbation floods your system with these constant hormonal shifts: a spike of dopamine, a drop of testosterone, a rise in prolactin over and over again. Think of it like revving your car engine every single day without giving it time to cool. Eventually, something wears out. Now, this doesn't mean that masturbation is bad. Not at all. But frequency matters more than most older men realize. A younger man's body recovers faster, but for you, that recovery takes longer. Daily stimulation may slowly drain your energy levels, weaken your muscle recovery, reduce your mental clarity, and even affect how you feel about yourself. You're not alone. Most men feel this way and blame age, when in fact it could be this invisible habit. It's not your fault. Society never told you what happens inside your body, and even many doctors avoid this topic altogether. But I won't. This might shock you, but most old men do this wrong. They confuse release with relief, but long-term, that daily release may be stealing your vitality. You deserve a healthy, confident life, no matter your age. Let's talk about something most men suffer with in silence: the emotional side of daily masturbation. No one teaches us how our habits affect not just the body, but also the mind. And by the time we reach our 60s or 70s, it's easy to overlook how something we've done for years may now be working against us. You're not alone. Most men feel this way, but they rarely speak up. You see, the mind and body are deeply connected. When you stimulate yourself daily, it's not just a physical act, it becomes emotional conditioning. The brain starts to associate pleasure, comfort, even sleep with the act of release. That might sound harmless, but over time, it rewires how your brain processes joy, stress, and loneliness. What once brought you pleasure may now be a crutch, something you do out of habit, not desire. This might shock you, but many older men are quietly addicted to their own routine. They don't see it as addiction because it doesn't involve drugs or alcohol. But if you feel anxious, restless, or irritable when you don't relieve yourself, that's a sign, a subtle dependence, and sadly, it often comes with guilt. After the moment has passed, you might feel a drop in self-worth, a sense of shame, or even regret, wondering why you still need this at your age. No one talks about this, but they should, because it affects your mood, your confidence, your sense of manhood. You may find yourself becoming more isolated, less interested in connecting with others, more prone to depression or emotional numbness. You may not even realize that this private habit is feeding that quiet sadness you feel. And let me be clear, it's not about morality. It's about mental health. Emotional strength, dignity. If something you do every day leaves you feeling emptier instead of fulfilled, it's time to pause and ask, is this helping me or quietly harming me? The good news, you can take back control. Awareness is the first step. You are not broken, you're not weak, you're just human, and you deserve peace of mind, emotional strength, and a life you're proud of even now, especially now. There's something deeply personal that affects nearly every man over 60, your prostate. It's small, tucked away, and often ignored, until it starts causing problems, and the truth is, most men don't realize how their daily habits, including masturbation, can quietly impact this crucial part of their body. You may be harming yourself without even knowing. Your prostate plays a key role in your reproductive system, especially in producing seminal fluid. As men age, the prostate naturally enlarges, a condition called BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. This can cause issues like frequent urination, difficulty starting or stopping your stream, or even pain in the lower pelvis. Many assume it's just part of getting old. And while that's partly true, your lifestyle choices play a much bigger role than you think. This might surprise you, but frequent ejaculation, especially daily, can overstimulate the prostate. Think of it like a muscle being used too often without proper rest. The more you stimulate it, the more it can swell, become irritated or inflamed. Some men begin to feel pressure in the pelvic area, a strange discomfort after climax, or notice they need to urinate more often, especially at night. But they never connect the dots. You're not alone. Most men don't understand the signs. They think it's something they ate or just part of aging. But the prostate is sensitive, especially after 60. If it's being activated too often, even through masturbation, it can become strained. Urologists often see older patients with mild chronic prostatitis not caused by infection, but by overuse or irritation, and in many cases, the cause is excessive solo stimulation. Now, I'm not saying you have to give it up entirely. That's not realistic and it's not necessary, but moderation matters. Your body isn't 25 anymore. It needs more recovery time, and so does your prostate. Ignoring this can lead to more serious urinary issues or even contribute to erectile difficulties over time. No one talks about this, but they should. Because once you understand what's really happening in your body, you can start making better choices, not out of fear, but out of self-respect. You deserve a calm body, a healthy prostate, and restful nights without discomfort. Without embarrassment, let's talk about something that most men feel, but can't quite explain: that slow fading of energy, the lack of spark, the shrinking desire to push forward with passion. You wake up, but you're not truly awake. You move through the day, but without drive. If you're over 60, you've likely felt it. And this might shock you, but your daily habit of masturbation may be part of the reason why. You see, when you climax, your brain experiences a flood of chemicals: dopamine, oxytocin, prolactin. In moderation, this release brings relief and relaxation. But if it happens every day, especially without deep emotional connection, it can start to flatten your drive. Why? Because your brain begins to associate pleasure with artificial stimulation, not with real achievement, connection, or purpose. Most men don't realize this. They think, I'm just tired because I'm old. But age doesn't destroy your energy, overstimulation does. Especially overstimulation that's disconnected from meaning or intimacy. The more often you release, the more you might feel calm for a moment but tired for the rest of the day. It's a trade-off, and most men never realize they're making it. You're not alone. Many men in their 60s and 70s have told me, Dr. Hartman, I just don't feel like myself anymore. They lose interest in exercise, in hobbies, in romance, even in conversation. And what they don't see is that their daily habit, often done out of routine or boredom, is slowly stealing their vital force. Eastern medicine has long believed that a man's life energy is tied to his sexual essence, that every release drains a little bit of that power. While modern science may not use the same words, the pattern is similar. Daily masturbation, especially without balance, can leave you feeling emotionally dull, physically weak, and mentally unmotivated. This might be difficult to hear, especially if it's something you've done for years, but I'm not here to judge, I'm here to open a door. Because once you understand what's been draining you, you can start to rebuild. Not by giving everything up, but by reclaiming control over your energy. You deserve to feel alive, driven, and full of purpose, not just surviving, but thriving at any age. Let's be honest, emotional connection gets harder with age. You may love your partner or miss having one, yet feel strangely distant, disconnected. Many older men feel this, but few ever ask why. The truth is, one quiet habit, daily masturbation, might be silently building a wall between you and the intimacy you deeply crave. You may be pushing love away without realizing it. You see, intimacy is more than physical. It's emotional presence, eye contact, touch, vulnerability. But when self-stimulation becomes a daily habit, often rushed, private, and detached, it starts to replace something sacred, real human connection. Your brain gets its reward, its dopamine hit, but without the depth of closeness. Over time, this reprograms your emotional patterns. You start needing less from others, feeling less around others, and eventually you stop reaching out at all. This might shock you, but many older men become emotionally numb through routine release. They think they're keeping their desires alive, when in reality, they're silencing them. That fire inside, that longing to be touched, to be seen, to matter, it gets weaker with every isolated act. You're not alone. Most men don't talk about this. They feel ashamed or confused. Why don't I feel love like I used to? Or why do I avoid intimacy even when I want it? It's not because you're broken. It's because your brain has adapted to fast one-sided satisfaction without the unpredictability, the emotion, or the depth of true closeness. And if you're in a relationship, the consequences can be even more painful. You may begin avoiding affection. Physical touch may feel unnecessary, even irritating. Communication breaks down, emotional distance creeps in, and before you know it, you're living beside someone you barely feel connected to. No one told you this could happen. Society tells men to just handle it themselves, to avoid neediness, to stay in control. But what if control is costing you love? What if the very habit that gives short-term comfort is stealing long-term joy? You still deserve love. You still deserve closeness. You still deserve to feel alive, connected, and wanted, not just behind closed doors, but in the arms of someone who truly sees you. You deserve more than release. You deserve real connection at any age.